specifically, there were obviously the things that made my hair stand on end were obviously crimes to do with being a P.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, in Scientology, it's more common than you would think, which is it's a little odd. Uh, yeah, exactly. But depending on the financial status of the individual, would mean whether that person had any sort of recompense as a result of doing those actions. Generally, if you're seen as being a donator to David Miscavige and his projects, you can pretty much, you've got a carte blanche, really. You can pretty much do whatever you like.
Wow. What I mean, were you
Yeah.
given any instructions, like if people admit to crimes to you, particularly ones of that kind of nature involving young people, are you to do anything?
No. Scientology has a very specific policy that L. Ron Hubbard wrote that states that you are not allowed to turn over any Scientologist to any authority. The police in Scientology are viewed as the enemy. They are bad, and getting into police hands is the worst thing you can possibly ever do to anybody, which is a total mind control thing, really. So that kind of gives anybody who wants to commit rape, or sorry, the R word or the P word, they can sort of get away with that, really.
Yeah. Well, it's insane, really. But even if you were not to go to the police, but go up to people, I mean, were there many
Mm,
people above you? I mean, OT5 is very high, but
yeah.
and what do I do now? What did you do?
Well, I gotta be honest with you, Andrew. I sort of was in shock, really. The first time I came across the P, I was pretty mortified having to listen to what these people were doing, because your listeners may not know this, but in Scientology, you have to get exact specifics of every action, right? So not only do you have to get the gist of what the person did, you have to get the body positions, the words spoken, what exactly where your shoulders were in relation to the person, what happened next, what was the outcome. You have to get every minute detail, and you have to sit there and listen to this. And it's
Oh my
when it
God.
comes to the P thing, I'm still. I don't think I've ever gotten over it, really.
Have you been to therapy since? I mean, it's the kind of thing that can give someone
Yeah, I have
PTSD.
actually. The main difference as to why I feel Scientology is abusive as compared to actual therapy is that Scientology makes you look at things and talk about things that you are not comfortable communicating. Um, so, for example, you have the e meter in front of you, and when the needle moves at the end of a question, it means that that question has something on it in the person's mind, right? So the amount of times I had, women sitting across from me, and it would go like that, the needle, I go, what's that? And they go, I don't want to talk about that. At that point, you are trained, you have to push it and you have to get what that is. And they go bright red and they don't want to say what it is. And they just want to leave. But you have to literally get them to talk about it, despite their sheer uncomfortableness and their sheer reluctance to do so. You have to get that.
Oh my God.
And yeah, and if you don't, you're in big trouble as an auditor. The fear factor that keeps people in line, and the social statuses of people that you Grant Cardones of the world, and how much you donate depends on how you're viewed and your friendships. And honestly, it's a mess because the family is the main target in Scientology, and family is is the glue that keeps the money rolling in.
That's so sneaky. And how much of
It's
this?
very sneaky. Fear and control, which is the two factors that Scientology uses to keep people in line, keep its members in, keep the money rolling in, is fear and control. John Travolta, I feel so bad for John Travolta because, as far as I was aware, he was very inactive as a Scientologist when I was in. You wouldn't hear much of him doing much Scientology, and the occasional interview he may bring it up, but it looked to me like he was trying to pull away. But the problem is that they have so much dirt on him that if he ever did, and if he ever spoke out, see, this is the exact mechanism. That's what keeps him in.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I mean, Scientologists talk about a cleared planet being the goal, right? And I thought about this the other day, actually. I thought, what would a cleared planet look like? And I thought it would actually make North Korea look like a holiday camp.
Because that would mean the whole world would be Scientology.
Yeah, there'd be cameras everywhere. Dave Miscavige wouldn't want to know exactly what everybody's doing at all times. You wouldn't be able to hide anything. You'd have an island somewhere with people who've been declared, and they go live there, and no one can talk to them. I mean, I just see it, and it's borderline fascism, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
isn't
wow.
it?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
or-
The SEALG is the upper echelon, the extremist, the fundamentalist Scientologist who dedicated the next billion years to not only clearing the planet but salvaging this entire sector of the galaxy. Is their goal.
Gosh.
Using L. Ron Hubbard's technology. Yeah, sleep deprivation was a major issue that I observed, and it was so upsetting when I got there, because you get this impression that you're told as in the sort of lower levels of Scientology how fantastic everything is, further on up in the higher orgs and this and that. And I'd often see staff members hiding in corners just crying. I mean, exhausted, and it was a absolute S show. It was debt is very much encouraged in Scientology. You're encouraged to take out as many credit cards as you can, max them all to the maximum hilt, loan here, loan there, bam, 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 as much as you can possibly get. And if you can't get enough, you'll get another friend who can get credit in his name and lend it to you, and then take out another 2 cards. It's nuts.